So each and every day of the week, I've got a couple key things that are on my plate that I need to make sure that I get done. I run a 7-figure social media marketing agency with a team and clients all over the world. I run an online community of thousands of social media marketing agency owners. I've got an amazing fiance that I enjoy each and every day spending time with and building an amazing life with. I've got 2 amazing dogs that need my care and my attention. I train with a bodybuilder each and every morning, and I enjoy pushing my physical and mental health to the limit. And more often than not, I'm living a semi-digital nomad life, traveling and seeing the world, doing adventures and road trips with my fiance and our 2 dogs. As someone who used to not wake up before 11 a.m. when I was in college, this is definitely a quantum leap when it comes to productivity. And if I didn't come up with some sort of way of being efficient, managing my time, getting things done, then none of this would be possible and my entire life would be complete and utter chaos. So I needed to learn how to manage my time and be productive for as much of each day as I possibly can. I'm really excited to share a little bit of my personal productivity system with all of you. This video is going to have some actionable nuggets that you can take into your day, you can implement right away even as you're watching this video, and it's going to make you a more productive and higher functioning person. So let's cover the main focus areas of lifestyle habits that have really made my success possible. Number 1 is fuel. Number 2 is purpose. Number 3 is plan. Number 4 is environment. And number 5 is technologies. So fuel really breaks down in a couple key focus areas that set my entire day up for success. I learned from an amazing mentor a couple years ago that our body is really like a high-tuned Lamborghini, but most of us don't treat it that way. Our body is amazing, and if we fuel it, if we give it the tools that it needs to succeed, our day is going to be much easier than it would be if we don't. It's pretty amazing. Simply by being hydrated, you can fix most of the things that are going wrong in your physical body just by drinking enough water each and every day. Once I started learning these key tactics, everything got much easier, and my businesses and my life really started achieving new heights. So the first essential piece of fuel is getting enough sleep every night, and most importantly, making sure that you're getting good sleep. So you might notice I've got an Apple Watch Ultra on my wrist. I track my sleep every single night of the week, and one of the first things that I do in the morning when I wake up is I check my sleep analytics. I see how much deep sleep I got, I see how much REM sleep I got, and it gives me basically a prescription for what I can expect from the day. If I notice that I got less hours of sleep, less REM, I know that I might have a little bit of brain fog in the morning, or I might want to see if I can squeeze a quick 15-minute nap in the middle of my day, just to make sure that I'm remaining highly productive for as much of the day as I possibly can. I 100% notice that if I didn't get enough sleep, it definitely affects my decision making, it affects my clarity, it affects my creativity. I might be a little bit more irritable or aggressive than I might normally be. All of these things definitely affect my ability to remain productive. I also try and sleep in as dark of a room as I possibly can, and I've been experimenting with keeping the room a little bit colder to see if that affects anything. Piece number 2 of fueling the energy is physical activity. So each and every morning I get up and I work out with a bodybuilder for about 2 hours, and I push myself to the absolute limits of the physical ability that I have. In Ryan Holiday's book, Discipline is Destiny, he talks about the benefits of waking up early, doing the hard things first. He calls it eating the frog. And I absolutely love that part of the book because it really sums up why I love getting up early. Being an entrepreneur, I have flexibility in my schedule. I don't necessarily need to wake up at 4:45 and go to the gym by 5 a.m. every single morning, but I've noticed that when I do that, it sets my day up for success. It gets the blood pumping, it gets the wheels in motion, it controls my energy levels, and I notice that I just have a much more satisfying and much more rewarding day when I do those things first. I also love to sit in the sauna for about 30 minutes afterward. I notice that it not only helps my mental health, but it also just helps reset my entire body, and I set the entire day up for success. Something that I also love to do is each day after work, I take my dog for a walk. I have a Dalmatian. He needs a lot of activity, so I aim for about 15,000 steps per day. I'll typically do that in the evening, and I'll also do that typically before my workout in the morning. I'll just get to the gym, hit the treadmill for about 15 minutes, walk a mile and a half, and I notice that 15,000 steps is a pretty easily obtainable number. Area number 3 of fuel is food. So admittedly, this is something that I haven't been the best at over the years, but I definitely recently have been making a concerted effort to really focus on the food that I'm putting in my body. I've really moved towards much denser whole foods as much as I possibly can. I meal prep before the week so that I have just a fridge stuffed full of prepared meals of good things like chickpea pasta, lean turkey, tons of vegetables, all prepared, ready to go. So not only do I save a ton of time by actually cooking these meals in advance and eliminating decision fatigue when it comes to what to eat throughout the week, I'm also making sure that I'm getting the essential things in my body for every single meal. I've got a good, nutritious, dense meal. All the things that really contribute to positive, clear decision making are there. A few other things that I've been looking out for lately are watching how much sodium I have, how much much sugar I have, and how many saturated fats I'm eating. I'm becoming more and more concerned with longevity and making sure that I'm really taking care of my body as I move through my 30s, and these are some key things I've learned are important to manage. Piece number 4 of fuel is mindset. So just like I'm fueling my body with good food, I also like to fuel my mind with as much positive energy as I possibly can. I really love to tap into the mindset of others. A lot of people ask me, hey Dave, how are you always so productive? How do you get things done? How do you maintain the level of energy throughout the day that you're able to? It really comes down to tapping into the energy of others. I remember when I was first getting my business started, Gary Vee was just kind of coming onto the scene. Say what you will about him, I absolutely love Gary Vee. And something that I did was when I finished my day every day, I would come home and I'd put on a Gary Vee podcast. I'd listen to his energy and talk about hustle, and it gave me the motivation to then start working on the social media marketing agency that I was building as a side hustle at the time. So I was tapping into Gary Vee's energy, into his mindset, and I was using that to motivate myself to work on my own business. And I maintain that habit to this day. So when I walk my dog in the evening, I'll listen to a podcast, I'll listen to some YouTube videos that I have saved, so that I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly tapping into new energy, and I'm using that to maintain focus and maintain energy and drive for my own life. So lifestyle habit number 2 is knowing your why and purpose. How can you hit a target if you have no idea what you're aiming for? By knowing our why and knowing our purpose, it gives us direction, it gives us the willpower to get out of bed each and every morning, and it gives us the will to go on in those moments that we maybe don't feel like doing the work or doing what's next on our to-do list. Something that I like to do personally is I'm super big on vision boards. I'm super big on visualization. So in this room right now on my phone, I have a vision board. On the desktop for my computer, I have a vision board. And when I was first getting started, I actually used to print out a lot of physical vision boards, and I'd leave them in my work environment behind my computer next to my desk, so that anytime that I felt like I wasn't motivated or I didn't have the willpower to do the next thing, I always had some visual cues checking me back in, pushing me along, and getting me back in the mindset of getting things done. These are absolutely key to being productive. As human beings, we can't possibly expect to will ourselves and have the willpower to just do things all day, every day without any direction and any sort of purpose. So I'd highly recommend, if you haven't, create a vision board in Canva. There's tons of amazing YouTube videos on how to do that. Print it off, put it at your desk, and get yourself in that constant mindset of being motivated. So the third category of lifestyle habits that's been immensely valuable for me is planning your work. When Derek and I, my business partner, and I were first getting started in our careers, we actually worked together at a recruitment agency, and our boss had this amazing quote. He said, plan your work and work your plan. And each day before we left the office, he made us write down what we didn't get done for the day and what our goals were for the next day. I didn't really realize at that time how big of an impact that would have on my life, but this is a habit that I adopted then and I've continued doing every single day since. So now we know what we're working towards, right? We have our why, we understand our mission. Now we can start planning towards it. This becomes the map that moves us towards that goal. Now we can see the goal, and now we're creating a map that's going to move us towards that goal a little bit every day. If you've read James Clear's amazing book, Atomic Habits, he talks about how tiny choices made each and every day compound and become the results that we see over time. By planning our day each day, we can help choose those choices so that the residual effects of them become the result that we want to achieve. So what I like to do is each and every night before I go to bed, I take stock of what I got done, I review my to-do list, I move things around, I reprioritize them so that I'm already getting in the mindset of the most important things that I need to get done the next day. That way, when I wake up the next morning, I don't have to spend my early morning hours trying to figure out what exactly I should be doing or what my plan should be. I've already got it prescribed. I already know exactly what I need to do, and I can just start doing things. Just like I like waking up and working out first thing in the morning and doing hard things, I also like to do the same when it comes to my to-do list. So I'll prioritize the tasks that maybe I want to do least or might take the most amount of time or the most willpower to do, and I'll do those first thing in the morning when I have the most amount of willpower and the most amount of motivation. This, combined with making my to-do list the night before, eliminates decision fatigue in the morning. It helps me start my day with momentum, and I enjoy that sweet, sweet dopamine of knowing that I'm getting things done, I'm marking things off of my to-do list, which just further propels the momentum of my day and increases success. So area number 4 of my lifestyle habits is environment. So I've definitely taken this to new heights that I never thought that I ever would. Like if you're looking at where I'm filming this video right now, I'm in this amazing office that's completely set up for 2 things. It's set up for running my business each day, Monday through Friday, and it's clearly set up to make some decent looking YouTube videos. And it's just completely optimized for efficiency. There's no Xbox in here. There's no distractions. I literally take care, even before I started filming this video, to make sure that my desk was clear, that my phone wasn't sitting here distracting me with notifications. Everything was in focus mode so that I could do exactly what I'm here to do. I have a couple key things that I do each and every day to make sure that my environment is set up for success. First of all, I like to make sure that it's clean. I also rarely take my work anywhere other than this specific desk or maybe a coffee shop here and there just to switch things up, because I know that if I'm here, I'm going to be focused. If I'm out in my living room, I might be looking at the laundry that I need to do. I might be looking at some dishes that could be done. All these things contribute to distraction and they pull me away from being productive. You might be watching this and thinking, that sounds great, Dave, but I live in a 1-bedroom apartment or a studio, and I used to be the exact same way. But there's still things that you can do to optimize your environment. There's actually a time when we were first starting our business that my fiance and I moved into a really small 2-bedroom duplex. My workspace was basically a desk stubbed into the second bedroom's corner, just with like no space at all to move. And the light, I remember, was like super dimly lit. It's just not a great environment to work in, really. But there were still things that I was doing, right? I had it sequestered in the corner. The desk was still clean, even though it was small. I'd put some noise canceling headphones on. I'd play some chill music in there. I'd try and set the vibe for productivity and for success. Again, to reference James Clear's amazing book, Atomic Habits, there's an amazing quote in there where he talks about how people that achieve results or that are typically perceived as being disciplined aren't really more disciplined. They just spend less time in tempting situations. So think about this. If you're trying to build a business and you're trying to break some old patterns and some old habits and decisions, like maybe watching too much TV, playing too many video games, if you instead set up your environment, like maybe take your Xbox and go put it in the trunk of your car during the weekend or times that you normally would play it, you want to be working on other things, it's going to be harder to make that decision to play that video game. You're making it more difficult to continue down the path of that habit, and you're making it easier for you to get in front of your laptop and start building your business. This extends to your digital life as well. Are your files organized? Is the screen for your computer clean, or is it dirty and have spills all over it? So the last key focus area of my lifestyle habits is technology and using it to help me remain productive. So I primarily try to use my devices to manage, track, or optimize my time. At a basic level, one of the single most important things that I think anybody watching this video could go and begin doing is use some sort of to-do list app. Humans are inherently forgetful. We also have a finite number of mental capacity that we can use up every single day. Why make it harder for ourselves and try and remember every single thing that we need to do? I'm obsessed with note-taking and I'm obsessed with list making. A lot of YouTubers refer to list making apps as their second brain, right? They think of something, they immediately put it in their app of choice. It really makes no difference what app you use as long as you figure out one that you like. I like to make sure that it has a phone and a desktop version, and in my case, an iPad version as well, so that I can constantly be adding things to it and I can constantly be remembering things, right? There's things that I've thought of at different points in time and different times of the day, and I try and get those into my app as soon as I think of them so I can come back to them. I can't tell you how many times I've thought of something, even the topic of this YouTube video, and I've come back to it, remembered that I had that idea, and then decided to act on it. There are a couple other key apps that I like to use as well. I love podcasts, so I like to use Spotify and Apple Podcasts, where I'm subscribed to all different kinds of amazing thought leaders who I can tap into at any moment in time. I can learn from them, I can feed off their energy, and I can use that to drive my purpose and my vision for my life. I love audiobooks, so I love Audible. A big thing that I like to do is I like to multitask. So when I go and I walk my dog, I'll listen to an audiobook, I'll listen to a podcast, or I'll listen to a YouTube video. And combining that action of using my mind while I'm using my body to go and walk around the block, I can actually save a ton of time and be even more productive. I'm also huge on YouTube playlists as well. If you didn't know it, you can actually save videos like this to a playlist so you can watch them later, you can come back to them. Even if YouTube suggests a video to you that you can't watch right now, you can save it to that watch later. And I have tons and tons of playlists of YouTube videos so that at any given time, I know that I've got a queue of videos that I intend to watch. And again, I can tap into that energy at any point in time. Speaking of productivity and lifestyle habits, I actually just released a full-length video on 10 of my favorite quotes from James Clear's amazing book, Atomic Habits. I'll throw it up on the screen here. Make sure to check it out. If you haven't already, make sure you drop a subscribe to the channel, especially if you're into anything related to health, wealth, or personal development. That's all we talk about here, and we'd love to have you as a part of the community.